Greetings, TheWarOwl greets you and welcome to Matchmaking Academy, where you are the star for all the wrong reasons, but don't worry, we're going to figure out what those reasons are and help you get good at Counter-Strike Global Defensive. Our hero today is Control. He's a legendary Eagle player, Duts here, I remembered it this time, and he had some questions about CT side Duts too. Now, he said that in this match in particular, he played really poorly, and he wanted some advice about how to improve. So we're going to be looking closely at this. We see he's going to NBK right now with the AWP. This player going to be pushing out the quad, misses the AWP shot, goes for the AWP shot. Oh, what a noob. He got wrecked. He got legit wrecked right there. That was tough to watch. So a lot happened there in a very short amount of time, so let's watch this at 1/4 speed. So at this point, you gotta be thinking, we're gonna smoke off A main. He doesn't do it, his teammate decides to do it. He does throw an improper smoke. I actually have a video where I go over the proper smokes that you have to throw. We see him switch like he's gonna smoke. He sees his buddy smoke, so he's like, all right, I guess he's smoking. I'm gonna make my way over to NBK in the corner with the AWP. He told me that he was trying to switch up his AWP position so that he could be unpredictable, and his main question had to do with AWPing on A main on cash. We're gonna get into that as I hop in game and talk a little bit more, so maybe some pro examples, that sort of a thing. But we see him get flashed as he crosses. That may tell him that the T is gonna play a little bit aggressively. Now watch what he does here on this peek. He actually moves like to peek at A main as this player is moving out. Notice he's not scoped, and he does kind of like an aggressive peek like that. He flicks and actually looked like he should have gotten that shot, but at the same time, I'm gonna pause it here, even though we're in slow motion, there's a lot to talk about here. Going for a really aggressive peek like that is very dangerous. He missed it. By missing it, he gives away his position, so now his opponent knows exactly where he is and is gonna be able to kill him if he decides to re-peek. Now, after missing that shot, it might be best to just sit here, scope in at the other side there, wait for a smoke to come down, maybe even throw a Molotov to a forklift or a smoke himself out of this position so that he can escape, maybe get to quad. But instead, he decides to go for the shot on this player. Which again, now he knows where he is, he shot the AWP at him, and boom, all he's gotta do is hold that position and just do a nice shot. When you're AWPing, you get a huge, that looks really sweet by the way, what's happening right here. When you're AWPing, let's do like slow motion, like that is a nice effect. Why are we closer now? That's weird, dude. Now we're like closer to the guy. I want you to see this from the opponent's point of view so it really sinks in. This player is playing very aggressively. This can work in matchmaking when you're playing against undisciplined players. Because there's a problem with the smoke, he realizes he can push through. So he does like a quick check right here, sees that there's nothing there. If you were just holding the angle normally with the AWP, you might have been able to kill him right there if you were just holding that angle. He pushes out, here's the scope. Sees the shot, he's like, man, I'm lucky to be alive. Now watch this. He keeps his crosshair on your position and just waits. Goes for the pick. You peek at the exact same time, and he does a really nice shot on you. But again, he had the advantage because he knew exactly where you were. If you just waited for him to turn the corner like this, he could have been able to get shot in the face. All right, we're gonna go over this smoke once again. Just recap it very quickly. We had in this scenario is one player playing like a dedicated anchor at A, that was our buddy, and one player playing more at highway. That's the secondary guy. So the secondary guy is throwing the smoke so that the A anchor player can re-smoke it whenever he needs to. The other guy can rotate around, may not be in a position to re-smoke it. Okay. So there's many ways to throw it. You can come up with your own way. You can look at how your favorite pro player does, whatever you want. This is the way that works for me. I run up, I stop at this tire, I look at the point at the hammer and the sickle, and I let go. It's a lovely little standing throw. It'll bounce once, land up on the ledge, and boom, entire thing is blocked off. So much better. This prevents the player from wanting to run through and get over here. I was surprised that guy was able to do that, to be honest. He got lucky. He was very, very ballsy to do that. You're playing an AWP position, and what this guy said to me in the write-up is that he wanted to kind of switch up how he was playing with the AWP to throw them off. So to not play predictably, to not play the same position every time. A place that's a really good position to play is right here. You can get them as they're coming in. You really don't allow them to get over the forklift if you play this position. The negative is the smoke that goes down right here. You can also watch the sight come over here and wallbang that. This is where I like to play. But what he did was run over here to NBK. Now this position in particular, I'm not particularly fond of And the one thing I would suggest if you are going to play this position, probably hold it. Wait for the players to have to push you. This is a spot where you just kind of have to catch the opponent off guard, like you said. But when you're trying to catch the opponent off guard, peeking like that, probably not the best idea. Also, you're giving away your advantage by peeking, where you just have to hold an angle with the AWP. It's like the most important thing for the AWP is just sit there, hold an angle, hold an angle. Oh, they peeked, they're dead. But if they see you like they did, what now? You're screwed. They can just hold this angle. You're gonna peek it. They can move out here. Eventually, if they get to the other side, I guess they could do it right here. If they get to the other side, there's nowhere for you to hide. You can't even get back into the corner. They can also Molotov that if they really want to, and then what now? Now you're really screwed. So I'm not like super big on that spot. Quad is another spot that's very common for AWPers to play. You can play right here. This is great because then you can move over and you can watch highway as well. This is kind of the angle where you want to look because a lot of times they're going to peek like right here. Sometimes they'll jump over and you'll see them like land into sandbags. So it's great to watch from here as well. It's very common though. So a lot of players, when they're playing highway, when they peek, that's where they're going to look, is right there because it's the most common spot. So you also maybe want to switch it up a little bit as well. I like this spot, like I said, right here. Another one you can play, I guess, really anywhere that you want, but this is another really good one. Playing back at truck, I'm not sure about that because you can't really help with the site. You're pretty much giving it to them completely. So I'm not too big about just playing back here at truck with the AWP. The other thing you may consider is not playing A. If you want to switch it up and you've been AWPing at A every single time, why not go to B? Why not run over here and do one of these? And huzzah, I got the quick pick. Now I'm going to fall back a little bit. Or you could be the mid player. I could come over here and play this spot and come through, watch. We know these guys are playing aggressively, so you could maybe catch somebody off guard. But that requires teamwork, and that's tough. So maybe you should just stick to just hold the angle. Just hold the angle with the AWP. I should clarify so this doesn't end in a lot of matchmaking fights. If you are deciding to, I'm going to come over here and AWP B now, you need to tell your teammates and make sure the B player is on board with it so you know you're switching positions. You don't just do it. This is another round where a lot happens in a very short amount of time. So what he wanted to know on this round was how to deal with middle on cash if the enemy team is able to take it. Now, we notice how they've been playing. T's have been playing pretty aggressively. They've been pushing fast in this game, and that's something you have to keep in mind. The other thing is that these two players are going over to the A side, and he has one player playing out at mid. So the player at white box right now gets picked. He says, oh man, I better help at middle. Pushes forward, gonna flash himself out for the peek. And look at that. Once again, these T's are going to push very aggressively and peeks him as he's in this highway position. So this all had to do with positioning, and his positioning was very subpar. So let me hop in game and talk a little bit more about that in depth. So let's say your mid player has died. He's dead, right? Now the T's are pushing forward at middle. If they get a pick, they have an opportunity to move out here, especially if it's a white box player, and to take this position. So now they have this vents area. They've got this whole thing they can play with. They pretty much have middle. They can start walking up here on the side like this, which is nice, you know? And they can throw a little nade, a little flash over the corner here as they peek here. And now what? Now you're screwed, baby. Now you're screwed. No. But so basically, if you lose mid like that, your player goes down, they have mid. And it's okay to let them have mid control. Instead of trying to run and do this flash and like try to peek them. That was actually horrible. That was actually really good. Anyway, instead of like trying to come over here and fight it and hold it, now you're still like 1vx how many guys they got out there trying to take middle. You've just like valiantly charged forward. There's no way to fall back. Look behind you. You're done. And you're just not going to be able to hold middle by yourself like this with a bunch of players already taking position in any game, really. Like, if you get better and better and your opponents get better and better, it's going to be less likely that you're going to be able to hold that position. Also, considering that the enemy team was playing very aggressively, you may think, they're going to push. They're going to push. Come back in a position like right here is really nice to hold this from. And if they peek you, you're in a good position to take them down. You can throw a little pre-nade down there, so if they're trying to peek it, boom, they get hit by that. That's nice. But anyway, I think it's pretty good on cash. If they take middle, to not fight for it and not lose your players trying to retake a position. If they have middle, they have middle. And you have to plan the next thing you're going to do. One of these B players maybe move back and play Z. Now he's here. He can also go, if they're starting to take B, and the guy calls it, he can flash over like this. He can get in a position up here. And like if they're trying to enter the site, He can wreck them from upper as well. But yeah, one of the B players coming back, maybe holding this spot so they don't get through Z is important. And then you, in the position you were at, making sure they don't get up highway. You can play that from a number of different spots. I like playing it from like right here, because then I can also help my teammate at A. You can play it back here at truck, so then you're also helping out this player, right? And look at this, so I can watch A main. I can watch here if they're never going to be able to get up that ladder if I'm playing this spot, right? So that's another great spot to play it from. It's just like you don't have to completely hold mid. You can let them have it. Repetition, man. You don't have to hold mid. You can let them have it. Retaking a position. You should really only be retaking positions if it's a bomb site. Big thanks to Control for sending in the demo. He seems like a nice guy. He was very humble in his write-up. He didn't really want a specific owl vision or anything like that, but we had some fun learning today, so let's have some fun watching some goodness. Let's get an owl vision. That was short, but sweet. Thank you folks very much for watching. I am TheWarOwl, and I still have no closer. And I hold this angle to infinity. Sorry about the eye touching. I know that's very rude, but I can't see out of my left eye all of a sudden. I don't know why. Hopefully it's not diabetes. We're gonna ignore it and keep making the video, man, because we gotta get this video out before midnight. Technically, it's out on Wednesday. Ha 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 ha. Oh, look, I threw a Molotov. Now you're screwed, buddy. What now? You're done. Oh, that was a horrible Molotov. Oh my gosh. All right, screw it. I'm gonna do this over.